Good morning and welcome to Devotions. The reading this morning is 2 Corinthians 3, 12 to 18. In 2 Corinthians 3, Paul speaks about the transformation that takes place when we turn to Christ. He contrasts the Old Covenant, where Moses had to veil his face before the Israelites because he couldn't handle the glory of God, with the New Covenant, where believers can approach God with unveiled faces and be transformed into his image. Verse 18 from the NIV version says, "And we all, who with unveiled faces contemplate the Lord's glory, are being transformed into his image with ever-increasing glory, which comes from the Lord, who is the Spirit." Paul's message is clear. When we come to Christ, the veil is removed, meaning we no longer live in spiritual blindness. We can now see and experience God's presence fully. As we continue to seek Him, we are transformed into His likeness. Living in Hillcrest and the surrounds, we know all about mist. Some people enjoy it, but some people get depressed when they notice it rolling in, and so quickly too. Visibility is limited, and we rely on street lights or car lights when driving. When mist appears in the morning, it is usually an indication of a hot day. And as the sun rises, the mist clears and everything becomes visible. This is what happens spiritually when we turn to Christ. Before knowing Him, our understanding is clouded by sin, fear, and worldly distractions. But when we accept Christ, the more time we spend in His presence, the clearer our vision becomes. And this process of sanctification continues throughout our lives, where we grow to reflect Jesus more and more in our actions, in our words, and in our character. When we were in the Midlands a few weeks ago, we went to Piggly Wiggly for a few purchases, including nougat. Then we went off to find a recommended restaurant called Fables. A well-known sculptor who used to show his work at Makaranga had his work there. We loved a beautiful rhino that he had sculptured. God is our sculpture, and we are His masterpiece. Ephesians 2:10. Sometimes transformation is painful. The Trinity removes pride, selfishness, and bad habits. Transformation can also be slow and barely noticeable. I would say that my most amazing God moments have been when God needed to gently chastise my behavior. If we stay connected, we can reflect His image more and more. Paul starts his passage by saying, "Since we have such a hope, we are very bold." We are called not to be ashamed of our faith. Go out there and share God's love to others. Paul's message reminds us that transformation is a journey. Confession and surrender help us remove anything that blocks this journey. We are continually being shaped into Christ's image, whether through struggles, victories, or everyday moments. God is making us more like Him, one step at a time. But may we live with unveiled faces, fully embracing this transformation that leads us into His glory. Amen. And see you next time.